3 nights after the Khufu pyramid opened beneath my feet, the copper measuring rod began to roll across my hotel desk in Cairo. It crossed a spread of photographs, my field notes, 2 star map rubbings, and the silver chain of my pocket watch, clicking softly each time its dented edge struck the wood. My name is Arthur Kingsley, and I had spent my fortune, my academic reputation, and nearly my life chasing dead civilizations that refused to stay dead. Yet that rod had been still when I placed it down. I pinned it with my palm. The metal trembled under my skin, not cold, not warm, but alive with the same buried rhythm that had passed through the empty sarcophagus inside Khufu. When I lifted my hand, the rod rolled again and stopped against one enlarged photograph from the night of the eclipse. Welcome to Teresa's aura lore. Close your eyes, let the modern world fade, and let the ancient whispers begin. The photograph had been taken by my camera after we left the tripod behind. At its center, my own figure stood before the entrance of the inverted pyramid, a place no lens should have reached. For 3 days, I had studied that impossible doorway. The rod, however, pointed to the far edge of the image, where a dark shape waited beyond the buried geometry. I dragged the magnifier over the paper. Grain widened, shadow split from stone. The angle of the jaw, the worn cheek, the long stillness of the face, all locked into place inside my memory. It was not fallen masonry. It was the Sphinx. Then the magnified darkness gave up its final detail. The eyes were open. My phone vibrated across the desk before the thought finished forming. Nadia's scan files filled the screen, pale bands and depth marks sliding under my thumb as I enlarged the right eye of the Sphinx. Nadia reported that a low-frequency sweep had found an empty chamber behind the eye, though she refused to call it a passage until the edges could be verified. I placed her scan beside the photograph and the rubbing from Khufu's inverted star chart. The missing section in the pyramid wall had never been damaged. Its broken curve matched the chamber behind the Sphinx's right eye with a precision that made coincidence impossible. I rotated the rubbing once, then again, until the removed coordinate no longer pointed to Khufu at all. It pointed to the Sphinx. A knock struck the door with quiet urgency. Omar entered first, sand still caught in the hem of his robe, and Saeed stepped in behind him with a folded sheet gripped against his chest. The boy spread the paper across my desk. Pencil lines formed the face of the Sphinx, but its eyes contained 2 spiraling star discs, both turning downward. Omar explained that Saeed had dreamed of the same moonless sand for 3 nights. In the dream, the Sphinx opened its eyes, and the stars inside them flowed down instead of rising. Each time the dream ended, the sand split beneath the right eye. Wanted the child kept far from whatever had started beneath Giza. Old pride rose in me, the stubborn instinct to place danger in my own hands and leave everyone else behind. But the pencil spirals matched Nadia's scan too well, and Saeed's small fingers pressed the right eye on the drawing with a certainty no scholar could imitate. By midnight, Nadia, Omar, Saeed, Layla Mansour, and I crossed back toward the Giza Plateau. Layla unfolded her astronomical alignment charts across her knees in the moving vehicle and indicated that the Sphinx had always been treated as a guardian of sunrise. Inside the system of the underground sky, she argued, its face might have been waiting for a reflection below the earth instead. The road ended. Sand took over. My boots pressed into the dark slope before the Sphinx, and the second heartbeat returned through the ground. Not from Khufu this time. It came from ahead, slow and immense, traveling through the sand from the body of the Sphinx. A ring of hairline cracks opened before its paws. The sand did not collapse into a pit. It tightened into the shape of an eye. I stepped onto the edge of the crack, and inside my vest pocket, the glass of my watch split with a tiny, exact snap. The crack in the glass pointed straight at the Sphinx's right eye. His hand tightened once, then guided us away from the Sphinx's front paws and toward the long slant of darkness falling from its right eye. Through Nadia, he reminded us that the old stories never allowed a man to stand before the face when the eye beneath the sand had opened. Panic thinned behind us with every careful step. The desert no longer rushed at our boots. It waited. Sand slid under our soles in soft sheets, and the shadow from the right eye kept pulling sideways, too narrow and too straight for moonlight. Layla knelt first at the end of that shadow. Her fingers brushed sand from a low stone plate half buried beneath the surface. The grains did not scatter with the wind. They withdrew from her touch in thin curved lines, revealing 3 shallow half-circles cut into the stone. Nadia lowered her scanner over the plate. Cold blue light passed across her hands, and the image on her screen trembled around the grooves. She reported that the cuts were not decorative, and that each curve carried a different magnetic response. Said pressed his folded drawing to his chest and indicated through Omar that the 3 circles matched the eyes from his dream. I took the copper measuring rod from my satchel. Its end scraped over the stone, caught in a hairline slit at the center of the right eye's shadow, and sank 1 finger width deeper than the surface should have allowed. The plate answered with a low vibration that traveled into my wrist. Sand loosened from the grooves. It slipped backward, not outward, as if an unseen tide had pulled it away. Beneath the 3 half-circles, dark blue stone lines appeared, one after another, and joined into the outline of a single immense eye. Nadia opened a small cloth packet from her field case. Inside lay 3 black magnetic fragments chipped from the mechanism beneath Khufu. Fragments I had kept as samples, too proud to admit that superstition had made me unwilling to discard them. She placed each shard into 1 groove. The stones turned by themselves, each one clicking once against the curved wall. Layla unfolded her star alignment chart and set it upside down over the plate. Her palm smoothed the paper against the stone while Nadia held the scanner steady. Layla informed us that the outer ring matched Orion only when the sky was reversed. The middle ring bent toward Sirius, and the inner ring belonged to an older northern point, no modern chart preserved. My memory supplied the missing wall from Khufu. The erased coordinate, the open eye in the photograph, Saeed's downward spirals, all tightened into one design. I told the others that the mechanism did not ask us to read the sky above. It demanded the sky beneath. Omar pressed both hands to the rim of the plate. His shoulders lowered with the vibration, and he signaled that the stone had not yet settled. Said then reached past him, small fingers hovering above the innermost groove. Through Omar, the boy insisted that the last disc must turn downward, because the stars in his dream never rose. I hated letting a child choose the final movement. My hand moved first to stop him, then stilled. Nadia's gaze held mine across the blue-lit stone, firm enough to remind me that courage did not always wear a man's hands. I gave Syed the copper rod. He pushed the inner shard down along the groove. The stone resisted, then yielded. A tremor moved under our knees, soft at first, then wide enough to pass through the sand, the plate, and the sleeping body of the Sphinx. The right eye changed. No grand crack split the face. No hidden door burst open. A single thread of blue light seeped from beneath the stone eyelid, traveled along the worn rim, and paused where the cheek met the ancient jaw. I climbed the low ledge beneath the eye. My gloves dragged over the weathered face, gathering pale dust into the seams. The second heartbeat returned inside the stone itself, slower than mine, older than fear. When my palm pressed the cheek, the light slipped downward through a hidden seam. A narrow panel under the right eye withdrew by the width of a hand. Darkness breathed from the gap, carrying dust, cool stone, and the faint metallic taste of the copper rod still vibrating in Saeed's grip. I motioned for the others to remain back, but Nadia stepped beside me at once and made clear, without a word, that she would not allow my pride to become another locked door. I turned sideways and entered first. My shoulders scraped the stone. Powder fell into my collar. One by one, the others followed into the chamber behind the eye. The passage curved inward, barely wide enough for breath and movement. Along both walls, closed stone eyes waited in rows. When the copper rod neared the first one, its lid opened with the patience of something waking after centuries. Inside it, no pupil waited. Only black water held a trembling point of starlight. The first stone eye closed behind us, and the second opened without sound. Its black surface held one trembling star, then two, then a slow river of blue points turning downward inside the wall. Layla eased her paper chart beneath the reflection, and the marks on the paper drifted out of alignment as if the ancient sky refused every modern name. Nadia brushed her gloved fingers under the open eye. Powder gathered in the seams of her glove, exposing a line of shallow wear where knees, hands, or foreheads had touched the stone for centuries. She indicated that this corridor had not been sealed and forgotten. It had been used patiently by people who knew exactly where to kneel. Said stopped before the smallest eye at the end of the passage. It sat low in the wall, close to the floor, half hidden behind a lip of stone. Omar moved beside him, one arm held before the boy, while I lowered the copper measuring rod until its tip rested against the tiny lid. The corridor grew still. Even the dust descending from my collar slowed in the blue light. Saeed placed his palm beneath the little eye, and my hand settled in front of his shoulder, ready to pull him back. The lid opened inward. A single white point waited inside. The copper rod warmed in my grip. The point widened, not into fire, but into a cold, patient star. A thin blue line slipped from the eye, passed between our boots, circled us once, and joined itself on the stone floor in the shape of a great, open eye. Then, all the eyes along the corridor opened together. Black water filled each one, and in every dark surface, a different sky turned downward. Some stars moved in patterns I knew from old Egyptian charts. Others belonged to no age in my memory. I formed the only guess that could stand beneath the weight of it. Khufu had been the ear, and the Sphinx was the eye. But the answer to what watched through it remained locked in the dark. The wall at the end withdrew by the width of my hand. I pressed my palm against the lower edge, and the stone gave off a deep chill before warmth rose into my fingers. Through the narrow opening, The buried void beneath Giza spread below us. The inverted pyramid's tip hung in the darkness. Around it, thousands of blue lights turned in slow constellations, not above the earth, but beneath it, circling that impossible point like a sleeping sky turned upside down. Nadia touched the rim of the opening and traced a nearly erased inscription. Layla steadied the chart beside her. Together, they indicated that the first door had listened, the second face had looked, and a third name had not yet awakened. Sed's folded drawing slipped from his pocket. It landed inside the blue eye drawn on the floor. The paper drank the light through its fibers, and a new shape darkened beside the Sphinx's face. Not a pyramid, not an eye. A black basalt key marked with a date and the outline of a cliff temple at Abu Simbel during the next sunrise alignment. Behind us, the Sphinx's right eye closed. The key remained on the paper. The journey into the forgotten concludes here, but your peace remains. If your mind is ready for deep sleep, simply stay in the present moment, close your eyes, and let the upcoming music carry you away. But if you are still awake and wish to unfold the next chapter of our ancient lore, follow the path on the right side of your screen. And if there is someone in your life sailing through stormy nights, share this sanctuary with them. For now, just drift deeper